Hey, I hope y'all are. I made it through Wednesday. I got some stuff done. Uh, got some rest, maybe a little bit. Uh, looks like I'm gonna have to get a lawyer, take care of my friend's um, affairs. Man, that really sucks. I still think about my friend, man, dying. Mm, God. Always remember, man. This year you could be great. Next year you could be kaput. So carpe diem, seize the day. Do what you need to do. Get it going down. I guess that's the word, huh? Woo, man. Up, I heard. Easy, puppy. Don't be rolling with us now. Here, honey. Here. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I know. Boned. Electric bill. I'm sorry, puppy. He's gonna be upset with me. I put his bone up, but I can't hear that crunch during the whole show because he be down there gnawing on it for 2 hours. All right, I'm just saying. Whew. All right, man. We got a station ID going on over on Rev Radio. Thank you, Richard. God bless you, monster. Uh, got that. Put that. Must have minimized itself, and if it's up running, you see it. If it's don't, you don't. And it's still running in the background. I mean, the brakes, but I just can't. Nobody can see it to time their brakes or everything else. But anyway, we're pitiful. Well, I'm pitiful. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Hey, we might as well kick this fucking pig off with really good news, okay? I started listening to this a few minutes, about 10 minutes ago, and I said, what the fuck? Really? I said, I didn't see this. I didn't hear about it. And, I guess, here it is. The Second Amendment has been unleashed, maybe?
Regulations that exist in this country today cannot clear it. And then beyond establishing strict scrutiny as the universal standard, the court went further and did something that gun owners across this country have been waiting for since Bruin. It identified 5 specific categories of gun regulation that fail constitutional scrutiny and are now unenforceable nationwide. Not in one state, not in certain jurisdictions.
Good.
Nationwide, across all 50 states, effective immediately. The first category is permit to purchase systems. Laws that require you to obtain government approval before you are permitted to buy a firearm. Illinois had it, Massachusetts had it, Connecticut had it, Maryland had it, New Jersey had it, Hawaii had it, Rhode Island had it. All of those permit to purchase systems are now unconstitutional and unenforceable. The court's language on this point, written by Chief Justice Roberts, is worth understanding clearly. The opinion states that the Second Amendment codifies a pre-existing right and that the government may not condition the exercise of that right on permission, approval, or delay beyond what is necessary to verify eligibility. The default is liberty. Restrictions require the highest level of justification. What that means in plain English is that you have a constitutional right to purchase a firearm, and the government cannot make you beg for permission to exercise that right. A background check to verify that you are not a prohibited person is constitutionally permissible. A permit system that requires you to apply, wait, and receive government approval before you are allowed to exercise your Second Amendment right is a prior restraint on a constitutional right, and it is gone. The second category that the court struck down is waiting periods that extend beyond the time needed to complete a background check. This is going to affect a lot of states because waiting periods have been one of the most common and most popular forms of gun regulation across the country. California had a 10-day waiting period. Florida had a 3-day waiting period. Rhode Island had a 7-day waiting period. There are waiting periods in more than a dozen states. The court's ruling draws a clear and logical constitutional line. States may require a background check. Background checks take time, and whatever time is genuinely necessary to complete the eligibility verification is constitutionally permissible. But once that check is complete and you have been cleared as a non-prohibited person, the state cannot make you wait additional days or weeks before you can take possession of a firearm you have already purchased and already been cleared to own. The additional waiting period beyond background check completion serves no constitutionally adequate purpose, and it is now gone. The third category is mandatory training requirements as prerequisites for exercising Second Amendment rights.
Jim Crow
States
laws,
cannot require you to complete a government-approved training course before you are permitted to carry or own a firearm. The court's reasoning here is consistent with the broader logic of the opinion. Training is something the government can encourage, can make available, can recommend. But the right to keep and bear arms is a constitutional right, and conditioning the exercise of a constitutional right on the completion of a government-mandated course is the same category of prior restraint that would never be tolerated if applied to free speech or religious practice. States that required 8-hour, 16-hour, or multi-day training programs as prerequisites for carry permits can no longer enforce those requirements. The fourth category struck down as good cause or proper purpose requirements for carry permits. The remaining may issue jurisdictions, California and certain counties, Hawaii, Maryland, and a handful of others, had systems that required applicants to prove they had a special need for self-defense beyond the general desire that every law-abiding citizen has to protect themselves.
No,
you had to demonstrate that you face specific documented threats. You had to convince a government official that your individual circumstances justified the right that the Constitution already guaranteed you.
Yeah,
that requirement is now constitutionally dead. The right to carry is presumed. You apply, you pass the background check, you demonstrate you are not a prohibited person, and the permit must be issued. No special need required, no convincing government officials of your worthiness. The right belongs to you by virtue of the Second Amendment and nothing else. The fifth and final category struck down is discretionary approval systems where officials have subjective authority to deny permits based on their personal judgment about an applicant's suitability. All permit systems that survive constitutional scrutiny going forward must be shall issue based on objective defined criteria. If you meet the objective requirements, age, clean background check, not a prohibited person, the permit must be issued. No official anywhere in this country has the constitutional authority to deny you a permit based on a subjective determination that you are not the right kind of person to exercise your Second Amendment rights. Wow. Now, let me walk through what this means state by state, because...
Well, he's going to continue on there, but there it is. Recent Supreme Court opinions are rocking the fucking Democrat world, man. I am telling you. Of course, everybody is stomping up and down and screaming, talking about gerrymandering. Yeah, it's just government officials stealing your elections. Yeah. Anyway, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a black-only a district created just for blacks in Louisiana. It's more than 100 miles long and snakes through the state, like a giant snake. That's the basic, the basis of racism is what? Something defined by your fucking skin color. Imagine that. The Democrats seem to think that that doesn't apply to everybody. I just think that's wrong. I don't think we should have this ideological gerrymandering that we have, that they allow today. But Democrats across the United States have used the Voting Act of, was it 1964, to justify this racism, to combat previous racism, allegedly. Okay? Truth is, what are they going to say and what are they going to do in cities where whites are minorities already? I don't see that fucking shit going sideways for them. All I'm saying is, at some point, liberals are going to have to face the fact that whites aren't the world majority that they claim to be. Okay, that's all I'm pointing out. I know that's crazy, but idiocracy is over the top, isn't it? Ah, my God, bless them, man. Stupid is We have no fucking shortage of stupid today. All right, I'm just saying. Where should we start? I mean, I guess we should start with the general, the guy that claims that look, aliens are here. Um, there are they have base here, and yeah, they're already we aren't waiting for them to get here. They've been here. The question is, who's terraforming the world, us or them? Is a good, I guess, question. So anyway, where I got so much information. I says because it rained yesterday, and pretty much, yeah. Well, I guess here's one. Here's one. Here's one thing that people may not realize. Okay, they should understand and know that under Trump, 50% of all of the Obamagate, Trump Russia Gate, conspiracies and the lawfare against Trump, understand that 50% of that happened while Trump was in office. Okay. So yeah, that's something that oops, where'd I go? Oh, I'm sorry, I blinked out for a second, didn't I? Hit the wrong one again. Anyway, here's Steve Bannon and John Solomon.
He was carried out on Donald Trump's watch against him by the people that he trusted around him. Now, I put that photo out this morning so everybody could see who's in the room. Gina Haspel, the CIA director, top FBI officials, top Homeland Security officials. If Chris Porter is right, that the president ordered those documents released that day, and those people walk out of the room and say, I ain't going to do it, there should be a consequence for that. That is defying a presidential order. If after that, if some of the things that happened in the 2020 election, because they were still vulnerable, occurred, and we didn't tell the American people, we came out and said it was a perfect election, most secure election in history, those people can be held to account. I thought the single most important thing that Kash Patel said on Sunday with Marie Bartiromo wasn't the deadline, because you and I have been talking about that deadline now for about a month. It was the fact that he considers some of this election matters to be part of the grand conspiracy. So there looks to be a fifth element. All right, we got Russia collusion, Ukraine impeachment, classified documents, Arctic Frost, which is the effort to repackage January 6th into some sort of insurrection against the Constitution. But Kash Patel saying the fifth element, which falls between 1, 2, and 3, 4, is the effort to hide vulnerabilities that were going on in the election and perhaps allow certain election rule changes to occur that violated state laws. I want to remind everybody that when Kash raided Georgia, he said that the law he was raiding it under was the law that says if you have laws in your state, you don't follow them under a federal presidential election, you can be prosecuted for evading a law, because the legislature, not the election bureaucrats, get to decide the manner of the election. And so in Georgia and in Wisconsin, there's some pretty strong evidence, and now maybe Michigan and Arizona,
of course,
pretty strong evidence that some of the
we already know all this, John. We already know that Democrats cheated across the board. We already know that Democrats have rigged voting rolls in various states. We already know that Democrats have used illegal immigrants to rack and pack and stack and gerrymander different states. We know that here in Virginia, the Democrats recently tried to pull a wool over a bunch of people's eyes, and it was wholly unconstitutional according to the Virginia Constitution. But what that does is that just means that Democrats have to wait till next year to try to gerrymander this next election. And the question is, will they be able to hold on to their super majority in this November election? Yeah. It's a lot of stuff that's going down. It's a lot of stuff that's happening. Yeah, Iran wants to just stop talks with the U.S. and obey and carry out the guidelines of the supreme leader. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has said your pipe and your oils are going to blow up. Donald Trump didn't say how they were going to blow up, even though we have 3 carrier groups in the region now for, let's just say, for 24-hour bombing campaigns. Yeah. So what's exactly going to happen? I don't know. Okay. The world is spinning out of control, whether you know it or not. The U.S. is considering using hypersonic missiles against Iran, as CENTCOM is set to brief Trump on military options. What we do know is Trump is probably using the Claude Opus, whatever it is, AI system developed, AI warfare system, targeting system, developed by AI, where everything is war gamed out, and they make all these strategic moves. And a lot of people don't know and understand. A lot of times, then the only move to play is the final move, is to skip all of the build up to the escalation and just go right to the destruction. So yeah. Vance reportedly questions whether the Pentagon's rosy assessments of the Iran war are really true. And the question is, are the intelligence services essentially misleading Donald Trump, telling him, way to go, attaboy, we can finish the job next time. I mean, I just question, how many next times do we have to finish the job? I mean, is it till the golden shekel reaches the river by the sea? Is that what the fuck we're talking about? I'm just curious. Yeah. United Arab Emirates, I believe it was, has withdrawn from OPEC. When I grew up in the 1970s, there were real oil wars, not like what we're having today when we have, religious regime change wars. Yeah, the craziness is that United Arab Emirates, the UAE, just triggered a once-in-a-century shift in global energy markets. They said on Tuesday it would quit OPEC by May 1st after 60 years of being a member, dealing a blow to the cartel as the Iran war exposes the discord among Gulf nations and Iran. Okay? Truth is, you've got different religious sects that control different zones. Now the question is, who is inbred with who? That's that's a not so complicated thing. Okay, the Wahhabis are essentially cousins to the Jews. Okay. In fact, Wahhabism and Judaism, I guess, are born together at the bastard roots of that, what they are. as in my opinion. Okay. Um, so you have Shia and you have Sharia sects, the two major, I guess, the three major branches of Islam. Um, and they probably overlap, just like Christians and Protestants and Catholics and Baptists. So, but it's it's a crazy thing. Okay. So the war is now more turning to a religious psychological war. And of course, this is what Israel does. Israel has been, of course, attacking in Lebanon, and now they are literally destroying. They are destroying dang foot. They're destroying the houses of Lebanese citizens and Christians, a lot of them that have lived there for 50, 75, 100 years, and literally taking the land. So yeah, that's ongoing right now. There's been more than 12,000 bombings by Israel since they had this so-called first what would you call it? This first ceasefire with Lebanon. Okay, it's literally every day that Israel and its racist population, racist, bigoted, apartheided motherfuckers, and hey, you guys should realize that even being a Christian, you're nothing but really dung under their feet. Okay, I mean these people bring back the old South and the fucking racism and in spades and on steroids. Okay, so all these people in the United States, they have no fucking clue. They have no idea about the real racism, the real discrimination, the real fucking hearts of evil that birthed civilization here on this planet. Some of it has attenuated, some of it has changed a little, but most of it is still that raw religious, ethnic bigotry. Of course, if you believe that someone is a subhuman, as Jews and Muslims do, then you should. I guess it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, really, they treat everybody as if they're like them old slaves out there in the field. Okay, people don't like to hear that, but that's just the truth about the uncivilized hell that is that is living and breathing in the Middle East. It's crazy. So anyway, so the United Arab Emirates is positioned to weather the crisis in the Hormuz. It has a pipeline that bypasses the Hormuz entirely and moves 2 million barrels a day. That advantage allows them to lead the export pack when the war ends. Also, remember, Saudi Arabia has Saudi Arabia has a pipeline, and they're pumping a million plus barrels or more through it every day. What I would say is that with the ability to build pipelines the way we have today, I'm just surprised that Saudi Arabia hasn't literally started building pipelines. that lay, that lay adjacent to these to the other pipelines that go through these areas. I'm just saying they, because you can literally put up a whole pipeline, just like you build up a house, and you can work on all the different parts, all the different pumping stations, all the places where you put pigs in to clean them out. That's like a big plug, by the way, and you pump it through the pipeline, and you can squirt it out the other end. They have smart pigs too now they put in these pipelines. So, yeah, things are a lot different than they were, 30, 40, 50 years ago on pipelines. I worked and helped replace, worked on pipelines myself. Okay, so I guess I am partial to them, number one, because, I've been there. I've stood in the ditch. I've handled the pipe. I've watched the welders. I've watched them x-ray every weld on that pipeline. The pipes, though, you don't know how they're welded, but it's a very, it's certainly can move a lot more oil and gas than a truck on a road, okay? Or on a freight car, okay? That's all I'm saying. So yeah. Pipelines are going to be popping up across the Middle East and across the United States to move oil to where it needs to go, to move energy. Until we get our own, small 0 point power source that we can use. That's why I love my friend Bill Grant. He was, that was his singular mode of thinking. For much of his life, and so he asked me to put his experiments, put his stuff online. I said okay. I said I would. That's the first time I saw him when they took him out of here when he was still in this local hospital. So yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, man. So the UK government promises more social media restrictions. Yeah, they're choking on the Fabianism of it all, aren't they? Members of the cabinet of Starmer's cabinet are busy paving the way for the next constructive phase of the dystopian society that they are building. Remember that you are being replaced, and that because this started a few decades ago. Whether the Europeans, whether the Americans, whether the people across the world realize it or not, okay? This social planning that has been done, that has moved massive numbers of military age men, in other words, in all honesty, a giant horny dick, okay? A bunch of horny men from Africa and Asia and everywhere else literally invade Europe and lay waste to the DNA base. Create a population wave is all I'm trying to say. Okay, listen, the elite don't really give a fuck about the DNA. In fact, they would prefer that the DNA be mixed so it dumbs down. It could dumb down and lower the IQs of all peoples. I'm just saying I know it's bananas. It sounds crazy, but understand that they saw the population curves coming. We all know and we all talk about Social Security fucking dying. We all talk about how many fucking people have to work to have one person on Social Security, and how all the money that they put in and all the inflation and the deflation and the stagflation that we fucking suffer here in the United States and around the world, that the promises that these governments make, they cannot fulfill them without creating these massive amounts of debt. That said, they have to figure out a way to fund that massive amount of debt. And they're looking at a population in the United States in particular where the elders, where more people are older than younger. More people are pulling out of Social Security and out of the system than are putting in. So what do they look at? They're looking at these long-term trends because they know they can't just turn it on and turn it off. Oh well, unless you just throw the border away like Mayorkas did, okay? He probably should be held for high treason, in all honesty, of what he did with the immigration invasion here in the United States. But understand, these things are about keeping things growing, I guess is the description I want to use, okay? Why? Because every economic model that the world runs on today depends on everything getting bigger and bigger and bigger, having more people, having more jobs, having more food, having more society, having more shit plants, having more. Everything has to grow. Nothing can contract because this societal house of cards and this economic house of cards that we have, if we don't keep growing, it implodes. It fucking just completely collapses because the interior of everything is empty. It's literally a black hole of debt. We're just, man, it's crazy. But we cannot and we will not end up on the positive ends of these systems. Because always remember, these systems require what? Expansion. What is expanding and what is contracting? What is contracting? The value of your dollar. Look at the value of your dollar compared to all currencies and look at it historically and how much it's at the inflation and deflation has eaten away at your purchasing power of $1. It says $1 on, it says $1 on it, but it's only a few cents worth of value left in it, in all honesty. I mean, the truth is, if you had $1 worth of value today, it'd be $26, $27. One to every $25 in a general fashion. So, money and the idea of money and inflation and deflation and how the society and how everything is working. I mean, understand if it doesn't continue to go like that, they just go literally. It's crazy. But population replacement is real. That all across Europe, all across the UK, all across Scandinavia. I mean, the only place I don't see any population replacement going on is maybe Central Africa. Well, yeah, I guess it is because they're wiping out all the Christians. Anyway, yeah, it's a world war. I was trying to get my website up. I got a website that I'm putting up, and I just got delayed on a little bit. It's called The Grid Has You. It's basically a psychological awakening thing. I guess it's like a oops. It's basically it's a psychological control grid, and just it kind of crashed, and I was using AI to upload it. I ran out of memory AI memory. My left brain, my third brain farted out. But yeah, it's looks like it's going to be a pretty. It's like it's going to be pretty interesting. So you're in a system designed to manage your perception and manufacture consent and discipline your dissent. The project maps the architecture so you can see the walls. Okay. So I have that. I'm still working on that. We have what I want you to kind of understand it, and then we got also ways to deprogram yourself from this system. So these are things that I guess are kind of important to me, more important than some of the other stuff that I've been doing. I guess I should watch my time. No, I don't have to. I got plenty of time. Sorry, I'm losing track of time pretty steadily here, man. So anyway, it's it is crazy, whether it's in the UK or whether it's in Australia. Governments are recognizing that the ideas, the socialization, and the weaponization of the mind, particularly in younger people, has been having impact. Okay, impact on these kids and how they think and what their lives are. Also, man, I was reading an article. I said, "Oh my God, you got to be fucking kidding me." Did you know that even toddlers and other people and other young kids, really young kids, children are being essentially babysit by TV? I admit it. I know I was. My mom was working and she sat four kids down in front of a TV and turned it on and said, "Watch the cartoons while I do my work." While she touched photographs up in I think they're called brown tones. Anyway, she used to fill in the color in the oil paintings. Yeah, it was just wow, something that's really a specialty thing. She was really good at it. So yeah. So anyway, it's yeah, everything is going sideways. Oil hits a new wartime high, $126 a barrel, topping what was 110 it had been before. There is no end in sight in this war, and there is a new wave of strikes planned. I think Donald Trump has to have a new wave of strikes. Okay. For the simple fact that I'm sure he's watching. I'm sure he's looking at the defensive positions that are being set up. I'm sure he is looking at the possibility of the Chinese sending in high-tech missile systems to shoot down planes. Okay. So yeah. No end in sight. Wow, here it is coming out of Louisiana. Fallout from the U.S. Supreme Court. The U.S. Supreme Court, what do you call that? Ruling about the racist Louisiana district that was created specifically for blacks. Okay. Governor Jeff Landry told Republican candidates he plans to spend the May 6th to suspend the May 16th primary elections so lawmakers can redraw the congressional map. Republican Landry told Republican House candidates Wednesday that he plans to suspend next month's primary elections so state lawmakers can pass a new congressional map first. according to two people with knowledge of the cause. The move follows a Supreme Court decision that found that Louisiana had unlawfully discriminated of Louisiana. Anyway, two of the 6 House seats are held by Democrats. Listen, the problem is you're drawing the minds, the bigotry of the minds of the people. When you start drawing boundaries according to political ideologies, you have crossed the Rubicon and have just gone full blown racist, bigoted, and discriminatory on people that have a certain set of ideas. Those certain set of ideas also claim a certain set of what? Of religions. A certain set of what? Races, sexes, ideologies. And Democrats are literally discriminating against them. What they have done across the Northeast is sad. It's just sad. Where Republicans have anywhere from 30 to 48% voters of the voter registration in the state, and they literally have zero representation at the federal level. This is how this ideological gerrymandering and this Democrat Jim Crow style bigotry against conservatives, who, well, most people say they're white people. Okay, I mean, I'm just repeating what other people are indicating. I just think it's a fucking sad state of America where groups of people are pitted against each other, so pitiful, pussified, shitbag politicians can use them as battering rams against each other, and then blame them, or have the blame game, instead of working to find solutions. They essentially they use an ideological, hammer to nail down somebody that they don't like. It is just, and often those people are, well, responsible. Anyway, so yeah, we expect more craziness. Expect a lot of accusations of racism. From the black community. Because what I will say is I don't see Massachusetts, I don't see Rhode Island, I don't see New York, I don't see Maine. I don't see, I don't see these liberal Northeast states creating conservative areas, gerrymandering zoned areas where conservatives have a voice in government. I don't see that in the Northeast, yet they command and demand it all everywhere else. But then again, I guess that's just the basics of this this two-party circle jerk that we live with today. Okay, I just think it's well, it's stupid on steroids, and we got plenty of stupid going on. Okay. Yeah. Administrative judges. Yeah, remember, a federal court is not an administrative judge. Okay, that is like under an agency. You can and should request a real federal trial instead of being held in front of one of these administrative judges. I guess that's just general advice. Meanwhile, more false flags coming out. People talk about how the Mossad bombed their own embassy in the 1990s in London so they could cause a what? So they cause security to be upgraded. They get the, oh God, they're hitting on the people that were genocided again, blah, blah, blah. Listen, the fact is that that Israel is fucking full of shit. Okay, how about NATO? Shouldn't NATO have been disbanded after it was found to have murdered more than 200 European citizens? You know, with car bombings and targeted assassinations. Bombings of a grandma and a little boy and her grandbaby at a park bench. They blew up a bus or so in Europe. I forget, it was 200 and some people died from Operation Gladio, I believe it was called. This undercover operation by, was it Gladio? This undercover operation by NATO to what? To direct the political, politics of the day, so the masses of asses could be, that were conditioned so they could be driven, they could be herded as essentially, as one big corrupted body into a certain set of thinking. And you wonder how we ended up with, well, the European Union, created by the CIA, okay? It's corrupted. It doesn't start and fucking finish like shit, okay? Meanwhile, voter scandals are erupting everywhere. I'm just saying. We got so much voter fraud going on in the United States. It's fucking pathetic. And we need to have Governor Kemp. We need to have now Governor Katie Hobbies and others fucking arrested. They need these high-level government officials, Rattensberger and Hemp and others in Georgia, Fannie Willis and others, they need to be fucking perp-walked in fucking handcuffs in mass, okay? That's all I'm saying. These fucking sons of bitches need to go to prison, okay? Particularly because what? Remember, there were supposed to be investigations. But what we were told is there's no signs, there's no nothing. And, Bill Barr and Christopher Wray, if Congress, if the Department of Justice doesn't fucking recommend charges, well, they're just fucking another bunch of worthless fucks.
Turns up evidence of voter fraud on a bigger scale than the left-wing media now pretends to put a gloss on otherwise. And that's the story of the century, isn't it? Just the news.
No.
Just saw this crack this morning. FBI secretly seizes election records from...
Listen, Dano, you think that's the biggest fucking story of the century? Give me a motherfucking break, you knucklehead. PNAC and Israel and the New World Order taking down the Twin Towers. Now, to kick off the surveillance state. Now, maybe that might be closer.
From Arizona's largest county as the voting pool expands. Folks, this is critical. Why is the left-wing media not interested in this story? I'm just curious, if the left-wing media folks are so concerned, as they pretended to be in the Bush-Gore election and the Russia collusion hoax, about election integrity. Donald Trump stole it with the Russians. Him and Putin were smoking cigars and Playboy jackets, and they stole the thing. Then why are you interested in this story? I don't understand. We are at a dangerous point in our country where people have faith in no institution at all.
Well, no shit, Dan. After you were at fucking Bastards Incorporated, you kind of fuckwad yourself after all that, didn't you, Dan, huh? No fucking confidence in any department. Okay, knucklehead. Yeah, hey, guess what, Dan? You're part of that fucking machine. God bless you. Man, what the fuck is wrong with you, okay? Oh, man, I am telling you, it's the selective idiocracy is like cuckoos, man. It's just plain fucking cuckoos. Yeah. Oh, here's one for you. Berlin and Hamburg, right? Just two German cities, big German cities, but, they have spent 4 billion euros just in those two cities. On what? On giving housing to asylum seekers since 2022. Okay. Now, Germany in total spends 50 billion euros a year on migrants, including accommodation, education, integration, social welfare, and other costs. Now, to put that in perspective, Tim Waltz and the let's just say the fraud in Minnesota, or you could look at the fraud in California. Okay, 25 billion estimated, close, I guess, pretty close in Minnesota. 100+ billion of fraud in California. That's just fucking levels of fraud. They're literally stealing so much money from the federal government, and it's just going. There is no check on the fraud. Okay, really. I mean, first off, you make the insurance companies liable, for the money if it's whatever. Okay. The U.S. Senate rejected a resolution that would bar Trump from leading another Bay of Pigs. That's right. Democrats said the War Powers resolution noted recent U.S. Combat operations in Venezuela and Iran, and the president's recent comments about Cuba's next has Democrat lawmakers worried for their friends in Havana. That's right. Maybe they still getting some good old back scratching drug money from there. I don't know. It is just, crazy. Okay. Ex-Mossad chief stuns by saying settler violence is an existential threat to the state of Israel. Hey, as far as I'm concerned, we should have already turned our back on Israel. Okay? China facing a major slowdown as export orders shrink and local businessmen struggle to stay afloat. Chinese are having trouble finding work in their own economy. Yeah, always remember that a majority of Chinese work in fields, have agrarian style lifestyle and culture. So yeah, remember that. I guess is what I would say. Canadian Education Minister, yes, Sir Retardedness, Yeah, some high pious fucking clown says, I'll be damned. Yeah. If I'm going to stand here and listen to someone say that parents deserve rights over children, no, they don't. They absolutely don't. This clown said. Okay. I mean, can we have some lynchings in Halifax? Progressive, conservative, Canada losing their collective mind. During a recent debate in Nova Scotia House of Assembly, Education Minister Bradine Maguire, progressive conservative, MLA, a progressive conservative. I mean, what the fuck is that? I mean, you can't be a conservative and be, literally one of these libertard progressives, okay? And what she says, why? Because of concerns about school policies and gender transitioning without parental notification and provincial funding for gender-related medical interventions for minors. Yeah, his argument, parents' rights are not a factor and essentially do not exist in the eyes of the Canadian government. The debate is sparked by concerns raised by another MLA member that provincial funding for gender reassignment surgeries for minors, school policies on social transitioning without parental notification, and reporting by groups like Citizens Alliance of Nova Scotia since 2014, they have essentially firewalled students and parents and are transitioning students behind those firewalls. What the fuck is wrong with government? Okay? For grades 7th through 12th, if a student has the capacity to consent by using preferred pronouns and gender identity, consent is not required. Imagine that. Yep. Hey, remember, if you're in the 7th grade, now you can drive a car because, well, you can say, I can drive a car. I have the responsibility. I can. You poor bastards. Yeah. Iran war. Yep. $25 billion in the first 2 months. Wow. Hey, another Somali fraud on top of the United States. Well, or more, right? Yeah. Well, we can't move forward. Brookfield Compass abandons a Virginia data center project. Yeah, I mean, listen, they're pushing these data centers everywhere, all right? How are they going to control you with a data center? They'll have people with a bug so far up their ass that every time they say a word, they probably get a ding for it on their account. I mean, really. Compass Data Centers is abandoning a massive data center project in Northern Virginia. The retreat comes as local opposition to data center build-outs accelerates nationwide, with residents increasingly furious about over-surging power demands, soaring electric bills, and land use battles. I mean, really. Down here in Franklin County, our Board of Supervisors has been well groomed. Yes, oh, God, I'm talking over the break. I'm sorry. Has been groomed, okay? Well, I at least part of it I won't talk over. Oops. Yeah. Hey, that sounds about right. I'm having an average normal day. I talked over the break. So the data centers, people are saying no. So they're doing the rezoning down here, try to update the zoning laws. They said they were trying to just update the language so it was compliance with whatever the state said. Well, what they did is the company that they hired, they threw in a whole bunch of new fucking shit. Okay, at what point do people realize that this is a taking? This is a violation of the civil rights of people, what they can and can't do in their land. I mean, come on, 4 fucking chickens. Why? Why is somebody with 1 acre of land limited to 4 chickens and no rooster? Okay, I mean, look, that's wholly unacceptable in my opinion. Okay, if people want to have goats, it's as long as it's contained within their own property. If it's not running off slop, not running off onto their neighbor's shit, I don't care. Anyway, that's what we're having, this creeping gentrification of what we see and what we know is going on in Virginia today. Okay, at least down in this area, and I don't think that our county board of supervisors, I don't think they thought about it. I don't think they realized that they were put in a psychological trap, I guess is a good description. That's how I look at it. And when they went in to evaluate the plans, they only went in 2x2s. I mean, and there was like a couple company people and 2 maybe board of supervisors, not the whole board of supervisors, not the whole set of brains that works together to bring the county progress and safety. I mean, really, it is bizarre. Okay, I guess is what I'm thinking. Okay, so that's gotta sit back till tomorrow. Anyway, what else we got going on here? The U.S. military says New York Times says that everybody knows it, that the U.S. military is losing its edge. China is equal in any future fight, a general warns. Yeah, that's those are bad things for the U.S., I guess you could say. Let me make sure that we're not. We got about 15 seconds, I guess, till we get back to Rev Radio. Boy, I've been on a roll lately. Sorry. Maybe I can get back to normal, grieving for Bill. All right. Yeehaw! Hey, welcome back. Sorry about talking over Rev Radio. Welcome back. Second hour of this Revolution in the Morning show. This mind meld of madness and expertaneous speech. Nothing scripted. Just let's move from one idea to the next and try to bring it all together so you get more information and you don't get a song and fucking dance that somebody has planned ahead of time. Okay? Let's see who wrote this thing. Dun, 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 dun. The editorial board at the New York Times says is a group of opinion journalists whose views are informed by expertise, research, debate, and certain long-standing CIA deep state values, that it is separate from the newsroom and more from the intelligence services. Oh, I did some editorializing myself there. But anyway, yes, they're essentially calling the fall of the U.S. military. And let's see, what general, who is this? The general in charge of keeping the United States Marine Corps sustained in a fight dismisses the notion that China poses a near-peer threat to the U.S. It's far more serious and will make the currently paused conflict from Iran pale in comparison should the two superpowers come to blow, says Lieutenant General Sklena of the U.S. MC Deputy Commandant for installations and logistics. There is no threat that looms larger than the People's Republic of China, the general says. During a 2026 Modern Day Marine Expo, don't listen to this garbage about them being near peer. They are peer because they rival us in nearly every single measure of national influence. So understand that China is sandbagging its own military, its own self, letting people believe that it's not as advanced as it is. Okay. As I said before, Trump's Iran moves make the idea of Iran or China looking at Taiwan and saying, okay, Trump has kind of gave us the political green light to be able to do this. The more land that Israel seizes in the Middle East, the higher chances are that China will just go for it. Okay. Now, coming up, I guess in May, there is a massive what do they call that? Block of seas and airspace that the Chinese government has said, look, we're going to have military maneuvers and in these zones. So be aware, and you should stay out of them. Okay, I guess is what they're trying to say. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah. What else we got going on here? Pilot reports that a drone strike at, I guess, off of San Diego, I believe it was, or L.A., within the, I guess, the L.A., on a down leg to the final turn into LAX, maybe, something like that. But the pilot hit a small red drone at 3,000 foot level. So yeah, be aware that there are bunches of idiots out there. Remember automation. Remember robots. Remember how it used to be when everybody had a typewriter. We didn't have a computer. We literally had to type everything out or write it in cursive. Okay. Today, automation has gone so far, and AI is been with enough memory, I should say, because that's where I'm stuck at, trying to finish deploying that website, thegridhasyou.com. So I'm going to finish that hopefully today or tomorrow. Maybe I'll just get whatever. So yeah, be aware, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, is how much everything is really, really changing. Okay. The Fed chair is being replaced as Jerome Powell is heading out the door, and Donald Trump's man is coming in the door now. Because why? Oh, because they stopped the lawsuit against the Fed, the $1.5 billion remodel of Fed offices. What are they doing? They coating the whole fucking walls with gold plank or something? I mean, really? Last day or two, if you didn't know, James Comey, the former FBI director, has been indicted on 8647. Such a fucking chicken shit indictment by the Justice Department. It's fucking laughable. It's fucking laughable that this is all they got on these guys. Really? In all of the fucking years of the deprivation of civil rights and the false accusations by the FBI, by the Democrat Party. Yeah, sorry. Fucking idiots, okay? The truth is that they're supposed to look like they're trying to prosecute somebody, but they never do. That's the standard jerk-off procedure that the United States government uses. After 5 years, the statute of limitations runs out, and they just throw it down over the cliff. Well, I'm sorry, continuing conspiracies are a problem. And, man, I'm just, I just don't know if there's really, the only help for Washington, D.C., might be a nuclear weapon. That might be the only way we can clean our governments out, literally. It's a sad truth, but that's it. I don't wish it because I know and understand how fucking fucked up that will be. There it is. I talked about it the other day, and boom, it just happened. Chinese nationals among the 51 indicted over marijuana grow operations in Oklahoma. That's right. A Chinese Department of Homeland Security investigation has resulted in the indictment of 51 individuals, including 29 Chinese nationals, on 67 counts of conspiracy to manufacture black market marijuana in Oklahoma for distribution in Texas, Mississippi, Kansas, and North Carolina, among other localities. The defendants are from California, Florida, Kansas, Michigan, Mississippi, New York, North Carolina, Oklahoma, and Texas. Of the 51 indicted, 23 are fugitives. 11 of the Chinese defendants have obtained a permanent legal residence in the United States. Denaturalization is on the way, son. Let's see. The April 21st alleges that between March 2025 and April 2026, a network of growers, brokers, transporters, and distributors sent marijuana into the black market in Oklahoma and across the United States. They would often buy old houses or underdeveloped property, add buildings to grow the weed in. The problem is many times they're using all kinds of different chemicals. I don't think that they're using what would you call it, hydroponics, but they're using a combination of dirt and hydroponics, which essentially can leave a lot of toxic wastewater that is how should you say it? Yeah. Oklahoma legalized medical marijuana in 2018 in hopes that a 7% excise tax and state local property taxes would finance education and infrastructure while creating new jobs. Wow. The Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics said organized criminals used as an opportunity to get involved. The Epic Times reports that 85% of the illegal grow facilities in Oklahoma are tied to the Chinese mobs. Well, imagine that. 1 out of 3 American citizens, Americans are having an existential crisis. What do they consider an existential crisis right now? I mean, I got like 3 of them going on. I mean, what the fuck? I got existential crises. I'm like, I'm just like a fucking juggling fool, man, at this point. And shit going wrong and shit going sideways and shit going everywhere. Hey, if it ain't a shitstorm, man, I'm not at home. I just don't feel comfortable. I don't know why. Maybe it's that edge of the thrill of combat or something. I don't know. Or maybe it's the fact that I never got to see real combat. I just got to practice it. 2,000 Americans survey found that 1 out of 3, 32%, say they're currently experiencing an existential crisis. Gen Z leading all generations with 52%. Stressful was the most common word Americans used to describe 2026 so far. Christ, man, I 4 of my friends died this year already. People that I know. Oh man, and 3 of them were good friends. The other one was, I knew Buddy. I just didn't like Buddy. He just was too far out there for me. He's too redneck, but he was a good old boy. Yeah. Wow. Anyway, so yeah. 87% of Americans believes the country is in an affordability crisis, and half struggle to pay basic bills. Despite widespread anxiety, 79% of Americans are planning some kind of mid-year reset. Yeah. So anyway, just remember, everybody's got shit on their plate, and the best way to figure it out is have enough people look at it and get enough options that you can then move forward. So yeah, it's crazies. That's what I'll say. That we are the crazies that we're living in today. Okay. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. They developed a water-based recovery method. 65% of electric vehicle battery metals can be saved and removed from their current a battery, a dead overused battery, and without additional electric, so without additional energy being involved. So that's a good thing. Okay, yeah. What else we got? Airlines across Europe could shut down over high prices of fuels. Imagine that. Alabama Republicans push for a new congressional map after the seismic ruling that it's about racism in voting districts and gerrymandering. Okay. That the Voter Rights Act 1964 will no longer be an excuse to gerrymander by race. I think that's a long time coming. Meanwhile, the Mayor Johnson up in Chicago brags about how he literally discriminates against white people. Yeah. Also, don't forget, here in Virginia, Democrats have instituted a policy where white people cannot get a contract from the state of Virginia that is under a value of $100,000 or less. That is prohibited for white people to even be there. I mean, it's just racism.
Been very intentional about making sure that my administration, unlike previous administrations, have people who work for me that reflect the community. Once upon a time, just to be very blunt with you, 2 administrations ago, 70% of the mayor's administration were white men, right? And that's just not a diversified approach, I believe.
Well, so there it is. 2 administrations ago, they were 75%. Now they're down to what? Yeah. That's to sum it up. He decided to assign racist guilt to a former administration without any evidence, and he chose to fight that alleged racism with more racism. To claim the stands are doubling down here would be just an understatement. The Crowder. Louder with Crowder says. He said, well, I'm no legal expert. I should be safe to assume that this man's hiring practices are not in fact legal. In fact, they're just plain racist, just as they are here in the state of Virginia. And the this new Jim Crow that is coming forward that is literally being targeting white people with a new style of albino style Jim Crow stuff. It's just fucking disgusting. Okay. KPMG ends the U.S. government audit business. I don't know if they shut it all down. We suspect those 450 KPMG employees are not thrilled with Pete Hegseth right now, as that company lost an audit contract for the U.S. Army. Yes, the truth is that all of these fucking auditors need to be shit canned. All of these fucking systems need to be fixed because they can't find their ass from a hole in the ground. And if they don't know where they spent the money, on what they spent the money, and where it went, then let's just say, where did it go? Did it just, somebody just put it in their pocket? Just like Vladimir Zelensky ends up with a stolen piece of art on his wall, behind the, in the Ukrainian government building. I mean, really. Japan's largest airport is now deploying humanoid robots for baggage and cargo handling. Hey, watch out, Warren. Here they come for your job. God bless you, brother. I hope you're doing well out there in Arizona. Anyway, yeah. So humanoid robots. The Unitree G1 push cargoes onto a belt. Basically, a truck pulls up with these loading tins on, with these what the hell do they call them? I forgot. Dang it. And what do? They just basically, the robot walks up and pushes it off the rollers and onto another conveyor belt where it rolls down. And then the robot waves his arm and says, "Go ahead," after it's clear. It's pretty simple stuff, but ground crew augmentation is going to start. And just as, you're going to see these robots in strawberry fields, in fruit fields and stuff with little suction cup actuators, So with, one of the things that's going to be, there's going to be a lot of maintenance on that stuff. So until the robots can literally repair themselves and rebuild the parts to repair themselves, there will be a small, I guess you could say it, bump in those industries, mechanical fixing type industries, but it will be a downhill. It will be an uphill struggle for mankind. It will be a downhill run for labor. A human physical labor is going to be, well, let's just say, you better figure out how to use your brain or how to do something before they literally turn you into nothingness. Okay? Yeah, you'll be outdated too one day. I'm sure I am already. So yeah. A new Einstein prodigy turns down Jeff Bezos' job offers, says she doesn't want to make billionaires, well, richer. And yeah, amen for her. Good for her. Meanwhile, if you didn't know, Alex Jones and his network, InfoWars, has been essentially taken over because of the lawsuits and all the other bullshit against Alex. The Onion is now in a full leasing agreement with InfoWars, so that's coming about. And were they able to lock down Alex Jones's persona as a debt yet? I don't know. Yeah, here's one woman that said, thank God, I love Trump. He helped me. She says, pre-Trump life was, well, this wasn't so great. So here is a confession, and a woman who admits that she has had to change her points of view because of Donald Trump. You'll like this, I hope.
Century, because I don't think you guys understand how carefree I was pre this administration. Like, I was a full-blown atheist. I made fucking hood rat content. I spent my days in the studio making diss tracks on my exes and picking up new hoes on my fucking live. Like, pre-Trump life was fucking lit. I was twerking outside of headlights. I was eating crab legs. I was drinking Hennessy. I had a fucking roster. Life was good, to say the fucking least. Now people will be like, why are you so political? Bitch, do you have eyeballs? I went to school for political science and economics. I was never this vested into politics because this shit is fucking dark. They're literally on the news like record-breaking amounts of people are converting over to Catholicism, and we can't figure out why. You can't? You can't figure out why? We don't even have the Antichrist in our backyard. He's in our kitchen drinking our coffee, talking about fuck you finna do. And I swear to God, I want to be a hoe again. I do. But we have an AI surveillance state looming, war, genocide, ICE concentration camps, evil Ziotes, Epstein Island, and a full-blown economic crash, poisonous fucking food, shit for fucking healthcare. Social services have been completely fucking eliminated. Is there a tornado coming? I don't know. A deep freeze, a wildfire? Who fucking knows anymore? The poor are starving. The elderly are going homeless. The sick are dying because they don't have adequate fucking healthcare. Motherfuckers are resigning from the military. They are taking resignation or dismissal over fucking war crimes, okay? Our veterans are treated like social pariahs. Our active servicemen are making videos talking about, I don't want to die for insert foreign country we can't fucking name, because if we do, they're going to block us, demonetize us, mute us, ban our fucking accounts, or potentially send the FBI outside of your fucking house for questioning. We're in a constitutional crisis, an economic crisis, a human rights fucking crisis, a due process crisis. Every time I turn around, but wait,
there's more.
By the senile
there is more
embodiment of the fucking Antichrist. This man shits his diapers and just thinks of new and creative ways to terrorize people. I fucking can't. He spent his entire life being a billionaire fucking trust fund fuckboy. I know he has friends with stupid names like Myth and Buffy. Go get Tanner to bomb the next country. Well,
I think she's having a meltdown. Maybe she does need to get laid. I don't know. But God bless her that she's changed her life around and she's quit hoeing, because now she says, oh my God, what the fuck am I seeing going on here? I guess that's one of those 1/3 of individuals in America that is having an existential crisis. Really? Oh my God. Amazon discusses Apprentice reboot with Don Jr. as the host. Oh my fucking God. Oh my God, Don Jr. Oh, what a joke. Meanwhile, Tucker Carlson says, burns it down, tells Trump you have failed. He has succeeded in some small pieces, but he has also failed in his mission to take on the deep state and for America, for Americans, with his, well, let's just say with his dozen foreign wars, or what would you want to call them, intelligence actions and bay of hogs everywhere. Yeah, it's crazies, man. People are crazies. What else we got going on here? Yeah, Dr. Fauci fraud. Yeah, oh man, I just, when it comes to Dr. Fauci, he should be standing for manslaughter. There is no doubt in this world that Dr. Fauci lied to Congress. There is no doubt in this world that Fauci's a former advisor charged with concealing these records that Dr. Fauci is fucking guilty as sin, and he should be. And that's why I ask, why have some of these other states have not brought forth state charges of manslaughter against these fucking Dr. Mangala motherfuckers who lied to Congress, who continued directly funding gain of function, the CIA deeply involved. Too many dark things out there. The other part of that is Remdesivir, okay? Remdesivir. Dr. Fauci should be, that's why I say Dr. Fauci committed manslaughter because of approving Remdesivir. That had a fucking 53% death rate on people that weren't even ill. It didn't have any viral load at all. Understand that. And Dr. Fauci knew that, but he run the Ebola. He run it as a test against Ebola, and he rerun it as Remdesivir, as a COVID cure. He murdered people, manslaughter at the very least. Okay, I guess I should play the clip instead of just sitting here fucking talking, huh? Just saying. Fucking bastard.
When these allegations first surfaced about Dr. Fauci and the other minions, and we were all told that it's a conspiracy theory and we're all a bunch of nuts. We now know we're going to have to get some new conspiracy theories because all the old ones turned out to be true. I've read enough to know that these gentlemen, these three, one indicted, two unindicted co-conspirators that will be indicted, they're in a lot of trouble. And it looks to me like, as at least as pleaded, that they were trying to hide the facts. That they were conducting gain-of-function research in China using American taxpayer dollars. And that they tried to hide it. And they imply in the emails, I don't know if it's true or not, that Dr. Fauci knew all about it. Well, I remember when these allegations...
of course Fauci knew about it. Fauci's ring fucking leader. Remember how he literally, what he did to people that had HIV, okay? And how he literally started to essentially put out a protocol that essentially, a medical protocol that was supposed to save them, that essentially murdered them, okay? Janet Mills drops her Senate campaign, paving the way for a planter. Dun, 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 dun. Janet Mills, governor of Maine, suspended her Senate campaign. Her withdrawal paves the way for Graham Planter to challenge Senator Susan Collins and reflects the energy of the Democrat Party's left as the voters unease with older candidates. Yeah. They got to get young socialist bucks in there, I guess. I don't know. Wow, it's crazy. Her blow is not only an exit to them, but also to Chuck Schumer in the New York and the Democrat Party that he leads. The minority leader has for almost 2 decades chosen his party's Senate candidates with little internal opposition. See, that's why I say this is an abortion to the Constitution to start with the way Democrats and Republicans, the way they operate. Okay, period. End of story. It's literally un-American and unconstitutional. And people don't call it out. Oh, here's the clip on Remdesivir. I talked about Remdesivir a minute ago. Yeah, here's something that you should see, that you should hear from somebody that is an expert, not just me opining. Okay.
Weaponizer of coronavirus also had the hand in developing remdesivir, the drug that was allegedly used to treat patients with COVID, except for the fact that by 2018, that drug had a kill ratio of 53%. Documented, published. It was so deadly that the World Health Organization itself pulled the drug from consideration for Ebola treatments. And ironically, inside of the documents that nobody bothers reading, the death rate occurred regardless of viral load, which means that people were killed who didn't even have Ebola. We murdered people. And by we, I mean the complacent and ignorant masses that have agreed to let these things go unchecked. Murdered people in Africa. The death rate at 53%. And we let that publication of information in 2018 fail to inform our decision in the spring of 2020. When Anthony Fauci, Ralph Baer, Peter Daszak, and others made the decision that we should inject remdesivir into patients with COVID. We knew we were going to kill people. That's premeditated murder. We knew we were going to do it, and we went along with it anyway. And sitting right next to the president, Donald Trump, he signed the death warrant for millions of Americans.
Asshole.
With the criminals sitting right next to him. Possibly one of the most interesting coups in human history, where the perpetrators of the coup were literally sitting in the Oval Office on a sofa right next to the president. And what he didn't know is that he was signing the death warrant to American citizens.
So we had, so you've named Fauci and Barrick.
Daszak. Yep.
There's quite a few others.
Oh, there's a whole host of them. And what's being done right now is working together with some very courageous sheriffs, some very courageous DAs. What we're now doing is we're compiling a series of actions where we have now thousands of patients who have died. And we're aggregating those into a unified action so that we can actually make a very public statement.
Wow.
Of what is in fact the felonies that we hope to.
Wow. Wow. Imagine that. Okay. Listen, the truth is these people, they murdered people, and they did it. It is all based, listen, all of this stuff is psychologically, has already been psychologically gamed and planned and tested out. Okay. All of the little fucking morons that they gave power to tell you to put a mask on, and all of the fear and all of the other shit that they instilled in retarded people that couldn't stop and think for a second in a logical fashion, okay, to tell you to wear a mask that doesn't protect you against anything. Period. End of story. And then power tripping people like as the Milgram experiments proved, that average Americans would electrocute motherfuckers, would torture people in experiments. This is proven. As long as some guy in a white coat and the government was standing behind them saying it's okay, the experiment must continue. You must continue the elimination of rights and civil liberties and act like little tyrants that people have gotten into. Now don't forget, this also did what? This also took all of these kids, all of these young people, all these other people. What it did was it gave them this psychological thing. It's the same way with KKK, Klan, Antifa. It's the same way with all these other groups. You have to understand, somebody is standing behind them saying, it's okay. You're a good liberal. You can do that. All right? Liberals have been calling for physical violence, as I said that the other day, that a large percentage of young people believe in this political violence. They believe in beating somebody that they believe is a fascist or a Nazi or something defined that is anti whatever they believe. Okay, that's just a fact of the world that we're living in today. Okay, it's not fantasy land. It's just reality. Okay. Oh well, defiant Majabi Khomeini, Gulf's future will be without U.S. pressure. Vows to protect their nuclear program at all costs. State TV read aloud a statement as the Ayatollah hasn't been seen or directly heard from since the attacks were against him. So let's see. Brent seed crude delivery is $126 a barrel this morning. Eased back to 114, but yeah. U.S. military teases cutting edge, not yet tested in the battle hypersonic missiles. Of course they're going to use them. Of course they have to test them. That's what Ukraine ended up being, a major test bed for new weapon systems. Imagine the U.S. military going into a drone war with no drones and all the vulnerabilities that, yeah, it's not going to be a good thing. Anyway, so yeah, expect Trump to with this word, expect Trump to make attacks. Okay, let's see. One guy claims that the report 52 Iranian ships breached the U.S. blockade within 72 hours. And that is one thing you have to ask. I mean, if you send 50, if you send 100 ships out into the ocean, can they catch them all? And the other part of that is, do you rig those ships to blow up once the U.S. military does take control of them? And that you have used some type of a proximity sensor that when they pull up beside you, blow up. Yeah. Expect all kinds of stuff coming. I mean, if the Viet Cong would, and the Japanese would teach these techniques to these idiots in the Middle East, it's going to be a long, tough war for everybody, including that's what Israel was finding out, as they literally have to destroy every building because there could be somebody hiding in it with a drone. So yeah, that's something that is going down. That story literally came out while the show was going on. So Iran said, fuck you. And, well, I understand. Russia says the United Arab Emirates exit won't spark a price war. However, that has already kind of been starting to happen. Okay. Futures jump overnight roller coaster session as oil unexpectedly tumbles and the yen soars. Growing division in Iran's hardline camp emerges over halting talks with the U.S. Yeah, imagine that. Another day of diversity as the culture in the UK has been, well, let's just say, rocked to its core. Let's see, I talked about most of these. Migrants climbing up the embassy walls in Spain as the Gambian embassy was overrun by individuals who climbed the security fences to get inside. Why? To get paperwork to claim asylum. Okay? Yeah. I hope my friend doesn't have that kind of a problem. What is the Europeans most proud of? The UK 29% and Hungary 23% said we just suck. It's not good times. Our government is fucked. This Fabian socialism is just fucked. That's how Europe feels right now. So yeah. What else we got? I know we got some more here. Yeah. Steve Kirsch on unvaxxed and autism. That's right. Ongoing hearings on Capitol Hill about autism and the cause of autism. Steve Kirsch, a billionaire, rich guy, said, it comes from vaccinations. And the government hid the fact that they knew that because the government keeps track of Amish kids. And the kids don't have autism. Steve Kirsch said we can't find an autistic kid who was unvaccinated. Huh? In the Amish community. They said they did find 3. They found three kids that were had autism in the Amish community. And guess what? All 3 came from outside the Amish community and came in and are in the Amish community now. Here's what Steve had to say.
Is that like where do you find? Is it just the parents that stepped up and said? I would think that's a very small percentage because so many of us blindly followed, the recommendations to vaccinate children.
Yeah, it's less than 1% of the public. So the Amish are a perfect example of a large group of people who are largely unvaccinated, and there's we can't find an autistic kid who was unvaccinated. It's very, very rare in the Amish community. Very, very rare. You won't find kids with ADD, with autoimmune disease, with panda pans, with epilepsy. You just don't find any of these chronic diseases in the Amish. And the U.S. government has been studying the Amish for decades, but there's never been a report out to the public. The reason, of course, is it would show that, if you don't follow our guidelines, you're going to end up healthier. That's why there's no report after decades of studying the Amish. There's no report because the report would be devastating to the narrative. It would show that the CDC has been harming the public for decades and saying nothing and burying all the...
How many children or people are
and have been literally burying all the evidence and hiding it from the American people. I agree. Our government has done so much damage that I don't believe that it can be considered legitimate anymore. Okay, I'm just pointing that out. Okay. Yeah, don't forget $100,000. That's right, $100,000 a year income qualifies as lower middle class. Lower middle class. Yeah. In these 12 states. I mean, can you fucking believe that? I mean, really? Yes, in 12 states, you're kind of, you're in Massachusetts, New Jersey, Maryland. Come on. Hawaii, California, New Hampshire, Washington, Colorado, Utah, Connecticut, Alaska, and Virginia. That's right. Wow. Top income for lower middle class in Massachusetts, $116,000. In Virginia, it's number 12 is $102,000 a year. Oh, sure. Get the, hey. And people are wondering why they have a trouble fucking, yeah. Well, here's some fucking professional grifters that, I kind of got to give these people a fucking hand, okay? This next group of fucking motherfuckers, man. You got to hand it to them. They got some fucking balls and got some gall, man. Let's check this out. Watch this. Oh, come on. Really?
Previously, no data was shared. We had no idea where the taxpayer dollars were spent. Just one red state. The recent dump of data, we found SNAP recipients had more than 2,000 Tesla owners, 200 Alfa Romeo owners, more than 144 that were receiving food stamps were driving Porsches. Again, this is the data dumps we're getting because before we had no accountability on any of these programs. We now are requiring accountability. The blue states are suing us. They don't want to share the data. And can you imagine, this was a red state where there is actually some taxpayer accountability.
God.
Imagine what's happening in the blue states if that's happening in the red states. Sharing previously, no data was shared.
There's actually two people that were driving fucking Bentleys that were on food stamps. I mean, I'm sorry, but listen, if you can afford to drive a Bentley, you shouldn't be on fucking food stamps. But, probably it's probably some Islamic or Jewish guy with 6 wives and 7 fucking kids, and with each wife. Got a family of 43. Guys that got a stretch limo. Oh, that's just my family car. Seriously, people driving Porsches shouldn't be on food stamps. Now, the question is, was this an old Porsche that the guy bought, worked on, fixed up? Or was it something that, some grifter got, some grifter brought, got new or whatever? I mean, really, it's got to be pretty far out there. I mean, really, you got to realize the prices of shit today too. Here you go. Here's one for you. Don't forget about Agenda 2030. Don't forget that we have all these other programs and agendas that super ultra national and international companies are pushing. So don't forget this.
Unfortunately, I think this is just the beginning. So I've learned when people tell you what they're going to do, don't ignore them. So when the UN and Bill Gates and Klaus Schwab tell you that they've got a UN 2030 plan with sustainable development goals, I think there are 17 or 21 of them, and every one of them says you won't be traveling, you won't have a private car, you won't be using international shipping to move goods around, there won't be any flights except military or perhaps very rich people, you won't own anything and you'll be happy, you probably won't live in your own house, you'll be using much less energy for everything, including heating, manufactured goods, and so on. When they tell you that, you should assume that they're serious about it. And so I think COVID has been part one of a multi-act play that's going to take 10 years that will destroy the liberal democracies completely. We've already, if you think living in a democracy, now ask yourself who you could vote for that would change this. Because I don't think there's anyone you can vote for anywhere that is guaranteed things. So I don't have an answer, but I'm telling you, I think we're sliding down through the gates of hell. I'm speaking out. There's nothing in it to me. I've lost lots of money, all my friends. I'm away from my home and family. And I'm speaking out because, as I close, I am absolutely sure what I've told you is substantially.
Now, this guy is a Pfizer vice president, okay? I mean, listen, this is one of the things people tell you, that they're going to do all this stuff and the New World Order is real and they're going to do whatever they want. And yeah, it's it's coming. It's here. We have such a crooked crap going on in our political system that not a fucking bit of it can be true. Okay? I mean, and when part of it is false, the whole thing falls apart, and we have no faith in anything.
The guy showed that Fonnie Willis was was working secretly behind the scenes with the Biden Justice Department, the Biden White House, and the J6 Democrats to create a double jeopardy, double drain on Donald Trump's supporters by creating a similar indictment to Jack Smith, but in Georgia, to move resources and lawyers and attention span and divide it. We're supposed to have a justice system that avoids double jeopardy. But in this case, you can see the plot being created by these
It's not
lawyers.
double
And
jeopardy. It's not double
Hey.
jeopardy. It's essentially called tag teaming. I mean, come on, John. You do realize that, if the federal government, the state government, and the local government all come at you 3 different ways to Sunday, you're pretty much toasted. Okay. Yeah, so we got that going down. What else, man? I mean, really, these fucking crooks, these motherfucking bastards, they don't know when to stop because they have no stopping point. They believe that they will continue to do whatever the hell they want. Okay? U.S. Education Department opens a probe on Stanford University. Teachers from Black, Indigenous, and people of color cohort receive full funding for all certification support offered by Stanford and BRC. However, if you're that's right, if you're the wrong color, if you're the wrong sex, you are essentially discriminated against. Okay. Title IX, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits discrimination on basis of race, national origin, color, education, and educational programs that receive financial assistance from the federal government. Stanford's National Board Resource Centers program that helps future teachers who identify as a person of color receive national board certifications. Listen, this is the problem. People believe that because racism in the past makes racism today okay. And it doesn't. Everything should be color blinded. That is the sad truth of the world that we live with today. U.S. debt tops 100% of the gross domestic product. Well, imagine that. Yeah, the United States of America is officially, upside down. Hey, thanks, Rev Radio. We'll see you tomorrow. And I don't know why I'm pointing at them, but I just let it ripped a relaxing gas. I just farted. Hey, hold on. Rev Radio, see you later. Rev Radio, I put them out the door now. And what can we get? What do we got? We can hold over their heads they don't know about. Heavily shorted Hertz soars after Uber robo-taxi deal. No shit. Hey, all you people driving Uber and Lyft, you know what you're doing? You're building a company that is going to replace you with what? With self-driving taxis. And you're building the business model. You're working out all the bugs, and yeah. So there you go. Will you be able to request a human driver when you get to the when you get to robocars? Maybe. I don't know. It's crazies. That's what I'll say. It's crazies and more crazies and more crazy. Let's see. No end in sight in the war. Oil meets a real-time high. New strikes and ground troops. I don't know. All I can tell you is our government makes dumb decisions on top of dumb decisions, and they will double and triple down because they don't have a fucking brain. Let's see what else we get. $43,000 for a front row seat. Yeah, at the World Cup. Man, really? Wow, that's outrageous. I mean, really. NATO mulls nixing annual summits because Trump comes in and makes stupid comments. Meanwhile, all those retarded liberals in Washington, D.C. that said, no kings, no kings, no kings, no kings, oh my God, no kings. When an actual king come to the fucking United States, they're like, oh my God, it's a king, it's a king. Alexander Cortez is walking around there like she got her fucking vibrator on extra tough, rough, and bad on extra vibrate. She was so giddy they thought she was going to have a king-gasm. Well, anyway, yeah, it's really strange how liberals, when they say no kings, but literally weeks later they bow to the King of England and say thank you, oh God. God, they so fucking stupid. And is it me or is it just they so fucking stupid? Oh man, I hope underdog so happy wins at the Kentucky Derby, but we'll see. Anyway, 2/3 of babies watch screen time up to 8 hours a day, from 3 to 8 hours for little babies. I started that earlier. They were kind of filled in the little blanky blanks. Well, I'm going to jump off here. It's 10 and lots to do today. Remember that you change the world every day. God bless. Good day and good luck. And stream.